for the 2023 elections to come. Now it has come and gone. What are the lessons that we can pick from it? Presently, this morning, we have the statistics that the APC has won 15 states, PDP has won 6 states, NNPP has won 1 state. But aside that, there were 27 killed nationwide in this election violence. A lot of lives were being lost, and apart from the winning, we have a lot of states. Some states are calling on INEC that they are not doing the just thing. Some, we have 2 states that they are saying they have inconclusive elections, and some states also that they are yet to declare the winner. But the majority, 22 out of the 28 states that experienced gubernatorial election on Saturday, 22 states has been declared. Now, from the 22 states that has been declared, what lessons can we pick from these states? What lessons can we draw and use it to set agenda for future generations, for posterity's sake? To do that with us this morning, we have with us in the studio, and that is in person of Mr. John Oluwafemi from Act Up Africa. And he will be the one to do justice to all the necessary lessons that we can pick from this election. Welcome you to the program this morning.
Thanks for having me once again.
Well, will I say happy election season? Because why we say happy is that 2023 election, particularly the gubernatorial, was one that was projected to that it will be tensed, so tensed. Yeah. But yet it seems, despite the fact that there are some itches, but on the other side, we must also give kudos to the peaceful collation of results, voting pattern, if I must say, apart from the ones that were being generated by the population itself. Overall, if we are to draw lessons from this election, which aspects will you go into straight?
Okay, let me start from the fact that the Nigerian citizens are peace-loving citizens, and I think it is obvious that if the government is actually ready to do, or agencies that are saddled with responsibilities are ready to carry out their assignment the way they were supposed to, Nigerians are dedicated to doing the right thing.
Okay.
Yes. Because if you look at it very well, there was a time I came here, we talked about vote not fight, we talk about peace during election, and without telling you, especially in the southwest, we are people who will say jeje mi mo nlo mi fe wahala. You know, those are words that keep ringing in the minds of Nigerians. But there are sometimes you are pushed to the wall to be touchy. You know, the arrival time was 8:30, as in on average, putting them together. Then we talked about the effectiveness of beavers. The ad hoc staff were able to actually show mastery of that gadget. They were able to use it effectively. And of course, the average accreditation time actually reduced compared to the last time. So that shows that the people that actually handled it, they have actually mastered it to some level. And of course, the level of education has actually increased as well. The citizen also knows
they are now more aware of the process,
what to do and what not to do. You know, the number of voided votes actually reduced this time around also. So these are part of the things that I think we can actually, on the part of the agency, I think doing the right thing, preparing well and delivering well will actually reduce the level of violence that will occur during election. You know, because those are the things that triggers argument, and argument leads to violence.
Well, we have seen a lot of review on the election here and there.
Yes.
There was one that was written on the Guardian newspaper headline this morning that EU knocks INEC over this just concluded election. I want to read it out to know if you follow or you're in support of their opinion. They said following the satisfaction of some electorates in the management of the governorship and state assembly elections, protests rocked some states against the Independent National Electoral Commission. Angry voters objected to delay tactics of the electoral body releasing the results and the alleged discrepancies in the election results signed by party agents against what was uploaded by INEC. And there was this aspect also that it was now said, speaking at a media briefing in Abuja to present the mission's second preliminary report, the chief observer, Badri Andrews, noted that although Nigerians had a great appetite for democracy and were keen to engage in various civil activities, their expectations were dashed.
Yeah.
According to him, the apathy recorded at the governorship state House of Assembly elections conducted last Saturday was clear consequence of failures by political elites and, unfortunately, INEC. Looking at that statement, it sounds so indicting. And knocking INEC for real. He also proceeds to say that obstructions and organized violence limited the free expression of the will of the voters, despite efforts by civil society to promote democratic standards. Throughout the mission, we saw that Nigerians have a great appetite for democracy and are keen to engage in various civil activities. However, in many parts of the country, their expectations were not met. Many were disappointed and witnessed voter apathy that is in part a clear consequence of failures of political elites and, unfortunately, also by INEC. What is your review of that statement?
For me, I think we mentioned we have to use the previous election, the presidential election, to serve as a control for this very one. Going by that statement, you realize that a lot of people actually were disappointed during the presidential election. To be frank and candid, a lot of people actually believe that if there are a lot of complaints actually happened after presidential election, like you didn't upload the results.
I think that was the major complaint.
Yes, that was the major complaint. That wasn't the major complaint alone. When I was analyzing, when we started, I was talking about those things that happened during election. Yes, during election. I've actually not touched on those things that happened in the process of completing the election and transmission of results. That is actually major, because in the Electoral Act, what people were so joyous about, what made people believe in the election, was the fact that those provisions were there. Now the major thing was taken away. It's not that it was totally taken away, but it didn't actually perform what it was supposed to perform. So it makes people not want to reduce the trust of people in that process. So and that actually made people actually moved away, because this is the only reason why I wanted to vote. This is the only reason I wanted to be engaged in the process, and now you have taken it away from me. So what is the evidence that if I go through this process again, I'm still going to get value for it? I asked a question the last time. I said, what is actually the real worth of our vote as a citizens of Nigeria? So leaving that alone, so for me, I align my thoughts, my feeling, my opinion with that of theirs, because if you look at the level of people turnout, people actually it reduces a lot the number of people that also turn out. I was expecting that, since politics is local, a lot of people may not be concerned with presidential, but I was hoping that people will believe that this is their own and they will come out, but they didn't come out. Why? Because of that which you have mentioned. Also, they mentioned violence. Also, the pocket of violence that we had during presidential election, and the failure of agencies, security agents, to actually do what they are supposed to do. That was one. In Oyo State, let me quickly use Oyo State as an example. Yes, the election was peaceful in Oyo State. At least if we are to say it, we'll say election was peaceful in Oyo State. But the truth is, there were pockets of violence before the election.
And that's created a fear in the minds of the electorate.
Big one. In fact, I was in the situation room. we had to actually go online, use some other media station to start telling people, please come out. We have been to so place. Take our word for it. We have been to so place. There is no violence. We have been to so place. No violence. And we started mentioning local government by local government, account blow for blow account of things.
The dark spots that people think there will be pockets of
Yes,
violence.
we actually told them that we have our guys there. You can go there and verify what we are saying. Come out. You know, a lot of people, before they could hear all those news, the time is already the election is already over. So these are part of this. That's why I said I will align my thought with them, because Nigerian citizens, they wanted to perform their civic rights, but these are factors. These are limiting factors. These are bans on that willingness to actually come out.
Well, the pockets of violence that took place, that happened on the election, this Saturday election, mostly attention was shifted to this western states, the southwest.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we have a lot that happened in the eastern.
States. Maybe you know what in the back before we get to the major podium here. Yeah, we were discussing. Yes, you raised this issue that why is it that the media projects more of what is happening in the West. Now, I said this. I don't mean any insult to any other region in Nigeria, but the truth is, go and check the highest number of people tweeting, the highest number of people going online on Facebook and all the rest. They are from Lagos. Go and check it. The population, they are from Lagos. Some of them are from mainly southwest. I agree with you, the fact that it is not only in the southwest that, in fact, the level of violence we have in the west is not even is not that much compared to places like we have in Kano presently.
We have in Kano presently.
Adamawa, like we have in Adamawa presently.
In Bayelsa,
yes.
Election day, around 2 p.m. they have started burning election materials.
And in fact, we had videos where, in fact, security agents were standing by, and the touts were carrying out.
You know, if it were to be Lagos State, they will say that during the presidential election that the security personnel, they were there, they will link it up with ethnicity, tribalism. But now that it's happened in the east, it's happened in north. What are we going to credit? Because most people now, the Easterners are leaving the East. You know this, I'm talking about Lagos.
You know this, the report you have read, it said the elites. They also indict the elites. See, there won't be a buyer if there is no seller.
Okay.
So now those who are selling this violence, they are the elites, and they are local. They are the one that controls the local politics. Like, I was expecting that it's going to be very, very tense in some states, but I was expecting that might happen in Oyo State. Okay. But going to the fact that Oyo State, we can say they are sophisticated when it comes to politics.
The pace setter states.
Yes, you have started. So, like, for example, if you look at the patterns of their voting, you can actually agree with me that they are so sophisticated. Now, but we were expecting that there might be pocket of violence in Oyo State, but it didn't happen. Now, my argument is this: the people that controls the local politics, they are the elites. They are the one that gives order. You are the one that will be the polling unit agent for our party, and they will give them instruction. Straight instruction. And let me tell you, all these touts that we are talking about, they don't have the money. Are they the owner of the vehicles they brought? We saw some of them that even police were guarding them. Where would they get the power to actually control the police to guard them? You know, so it means that they have some people, they have some backings. So it is the elite that are actually perpetrating this thing using other people. You know, so for me, I think the media needs to do more. The media needs to do more. You know, you people should stop selling tribalism to us. when they give you narratives, sometimes they want people to see a particular narrative, and they push it to the media.
At times when I look at the social media space, it is unregulated.
Yes.
And it gives room for a lot of indictments.
Yeah.
It gives room for even if you want to control the let me say I don't know the term to use for it, the broadcast media that is our own, that we are used to, and compared that we are being regulated by the National Broadcasting Commission, Nigerian Broadcasting Commission, and comparing it with those platforms that are not being regulated. At this moment, don't you think that those platforms are doing more evil than good to the unity of Nigeria?
I would say yes and no. You are trying to actually exonerate the broadcast media, the traditional media that we used to, the TV, the radio, and all the rest. If you look at it very well, except if we want to deceive ourselves, I mean, the civil society, we work together, we work with media. And sometimes when I analyze, I realize that even the media, despite the fact that they are regulated, they know how to find their way when they want to push a particular narrative. Because they are smart with it. That's why you can't hold them red-handed. But social media space is just about the purpose for which you are using it for. Like, if we start going into that place, it's like telling people that they don't have the right to express their mind.
Now
social media is just like any other community. It's just like any other community. So that's why I tell people, whatever you see on the social media is not valid for me.
It's not so valid
for me.
It's not valid for me. At this juncture, we should open the phone lines for our dear viewers to contribute to the discussion this morning. The lessons that can be drawn from the concluded elections that we had in Nigeria. What are the major lessons that you have seen, and which way? What steps do we need to start taking right now? The studio lines are displayed on your television screen, and to be part of the program, just call in, and when you call, turn down the volume of your television set so that we can both enjoy ourselves together. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Your name and where are you calling us from?
I'm Mr. Isaac Anthony calling from Kaduna.
From Kaduna. What is the situation like in Kaduna?
Well, from the experiences we had during the presidential and the state assembly and governorship election, the introduction of Bivas was a perfect introduction.
Okay.
But at a point, I want to believe most of the challenges we had is not from the voters. There were little cases of ballot snatching.
Okay.
There was little cases of violence.
Okay.
But the result that we have announced was not really a true reflection of what the people voted, because some people followed up their result from the polling unit to the ward collection center to the local government collection centers. But to their dismay, what was announced by the state returning officers did not actually tally with outcome that they received from various polling units.
Now, let me ask you a question, sir. What was the situation like in the southern Kaduna? Because we heard that many people were being restricted from voting for a particular candidate, and there were pockets of violence in Kaduna, just something similar to what happened in Lagos State. How true is that?
No, that one, there is no confirmation of that. I only know there was an attack in some communities before the election. So some people rate it as an attempt to scare people from coming out to vote, because people know that Southern Kaduna is always a PDP zone.
Okay.
And so people rate it as if it was an attempt to scare people from coming out to vote.
Okay. Okay.
But generally, the elections were very peaceful in most of the southern part of Kaduna.
So do you think INEC has made any progress so far?
Yes. By the introduction of Bivas, they have made progress. But by not uploading the result, they have betrayed the confidence Nigeria had.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We appreciate your contribution. Yeah, thank you.
They only perceive the argument. That's what they did by by not uploading it to IRF, on time, because they promised that it was going to be live. And looking at part of the lessons that we have learned, if we look at the results that we have, I want to mention something very important. Youth of Nigeria should now understand that our reality is different from the reality of the older generations.
How do you mean?
Yeah, good. Now, in the previous election, presidential election, we realized that the youth are clamoring for a particular candidate.
Okay.
And the fact remains that now it means realities are different based on the type of exposure you have, the type of education you have, and the generation you belong to. Like the youth, those that are educated, those that are educated, they are speaking the same language. They want the same candidates, and their definition of who a candidate should be is almost the same. Fine, it's not that all of them will vote for the same candidate, but their definition is almost the same. But we have those that are not educated in the youth category as well. That is where the problem now lies. Because go into the streets, listen to them, you will realize that I don't want to use the primitive. They don't even understand what politics is in the first place. They don't understand what it is they wanted for their life. Like, you want development. You are showing on, people are seeing you all over the world. Yet you have needs. And those needs, you can actually codify them. Like, okay, I want good health, I want this, I want that, and all the rest like that. Nigeria should do this so that if I work very well, I will be able to do this. But those people there, they just live their life. They live by the day.
Well, I bet to disagree with you on that.
Okay.
Because going by your analysis, let me just say, our needs differs, just as you have said it. For someone that is not educated, or for someone that does not have anything to do with the international world, nothing concerns them that Nigerian
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Are not working for international transactions.
That's what I'm saying.
But now, the point is, at times when it comes to ideology and political setting, if we look at these ones that you're saying that they are not educated, they have been into the political system. They understood the grassroots of what is happening.
Now,
not as people that are taking from the top.
A lot of them, they can't actually connect. They can't actually connect what will bring that development. You don't get what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like, for example, in your community, you said, I want road. But you don't care about who becomes your House of Assembly representative. How do you get it if you cannot push it through policies? You get what I'm saying? So we are talking about, okay, someone is building road. But are there policies in place that will actually boost the economy of that particular state? You get what I'm saying. So it is only people like you and me that understand. In fact, for most people, the definition of development is giving them road and borehole. And these are the same set of people. I'm not actually talking as in looking down on them. What I'm saying is their own understanding of development.
Different people with their own perspective.
Yes, their own perspective. But the true perspective of development goes beyond just giving me road. It is about what policy are in place that will actually promote sustainable development. That would, like, for example, good governance. We've been talking about good governance. How many states have adopted OGP?
And as a matter of fact, when you talk about sustainable development, that is something that I think we lack in Nigeria.
Yes.
But over time, there is improvements. There has been improvements on this. Going by before, let's take your state as an example.
Okay.
And some states are towing the line. We used to have governments that will come in and they will abandon projects, start a new one. But now we are having, despite different...
Do you know what actually gave back to that? Okay. It is because the civil society. That's what I'm saying about youth, the categories of youth that we now have. It is the civil society, civil society that came up together and said, Governor, this is our agenda.
So now the civil society youths are holding the leaders accountable. Now, setting agenda.
Yeah.
We have 15 state governors declared for APC,
yes.
6 states for PDP,
and
NNPP for one. We are waiting Abia State to fully to the Labour Party and some other states, Adamawa and the whole lot. Now, what should we start doing to our leaders? Election has come and gone.
Yes.
Even if there will be any reversal by the courts, we are still going to have this. What are the steps that we need to start taking?
I think just like what we have said over and over again, we need to start developing charters of demand. And it's not just charter of demand, we want road, we want this, we want this. But the civil society has to take the lead. We need to take the lead. We know people in our communities, CBOs, that community-based organizations. Sit down with this community. They know exactly what they want, but you are the one that would help them design it in such a way that when they are presented, they can be sustained. 2, the civil society, we need to start, those of us that are working in the accountability space, we need to start doing our job. It is not just about putting people there. Financial corruption is not the only corruption that we are talking about. The fact that you promise people and you cannot deliver on it, there are corruptions too. We need to start holding them accountable to their words. Where are their manifestos? Let's begin to use them as scorecard. We start using checklists to see whether they achieved what they said they are going to achieve. Like Engineer Seyi Makinde, what he told us in the previous. In fact, I can tell you, he has done well in almost all those things that he has mentioned that he wanted to do. But we have an agenda. The first thing, for me, I can tell him that he didn't score up to 50 in environment. This is something that he needs to. It's not about criticizing him. It's about telling him that you need to improve in this area.
And looking at your states in the past 4 years when it comes to cleanliness,
yes,
something that should be
questioned. We need to look into that. Governor needs to work on that. 2, governor needs to work on security. Not security in terms of external aggression. We talk about the peaceful coexistence in the state. Like in the parts that we have in Oyo State, there are some hotspots in Oyo State. We all know that miscreants are actually taking over. Governor needs to work on all this. These are salient issues, you know. The youth on the other part of our home, they see it as they've given us free hand. You get what I'm saying? So these are gaps that civil society needs to fill. Media, we need to come in. We need to educate them that if we want our state to grow, to be like, set an agenda, an example state. We want our state to be like this. I think Akwa Ibom is now declared as one of the neatest states in Nigeria. And
nothing stops any states from copying that.
We call ourselves pace setter. Leave pace setter alone. Yes, we are pace setter, fine. But let's set agenda. This is what this state is doing well. Fine. Oyo State is becoming an example. Truly, we are becoming an example. People are saying yes, it's the type of governor they are looking for. But there are those areas where we are lacking. Can we start borrowing from those ones so that we develop? OGP is there. Let's adopt OGP, Open Government Partnership. Let's adopt it. Every element of OGP is here in Oyo State. We do participatory budgeting. We do a community consultation. Oyo State is doing it. They do participatory monitoring. Now they are about doing e-governance. So why can't we just, let's put it into writing. Let's sign a policy that says that we are part of open government partnership, that people can hold us accountable for how we run the government.
And that's one, I think that's one will be a turning point, because if we are setting agenda for your state government, let me say directly or indirectly, we are also setting agenda for every other state.
Yes.
And the fact that you are being re-elected does not mean that you are doing perfectly well.
Yes.
But people have the belief that you can do it better. There is hope and trust that people, the election that we had in Oyo State, we've never had it before. That's kind of margin coming up. I think it's almost doubled that of the APC, and that shows that people actually reviewed their wishes, through their votes. So to also every other state, I think that should be a leaf that we need to stake when it comes to we setting agenda for our government. The fact that we are having new people emerging as governors and the re-elected ones, we should not stop performing the open government participation.
Yes.
We need to uphold it so much. And now for the youth also, I want us to leave a message for them when it comes to this ethnic divides that has been going on. I don't think that should be the point that we should be at this moment.
I think it is not the problem of the youth. It is that culture that they are trying to pass across to the youth. Look at most of all the governors that we have today. The Labour Party governor, a candidate at Lagos, married to an Igbo wife, and the mother is Igbo, and a kind of. We see, I think you said I should speak to the youth. The youth, please listen. We are first women before we can actually understand tribe. In fact, when you were given birth to, you don't even know who you are in the first place. It is when you get to certain age you now realize, okay, I'm living in so place. If you are taken from that place, immediately you are born and you are taken to the United States of America, you won't even know that you were born in a particular place.
Exactly.
So I think that should not form the basis for us as youth. If we have to, we should start seeing ourselves as global citizens. Until we start seeing ourselves as global citizens, we won't accept ourselves.
That is a turning point. We need to start seeing ourselves as global citizens. And if anyone is having any agenda that is different from being a global citizen, I think that one should be left for now. We are in the 21st century, a century whereby we need to do things better and make things work better. For the states that we are expecting the election results, I hope it will get to know soon, and we hope that we get it better moving forward in Nigeria. I want to appreciate your presence on the program, Mr. John Oluwafemi from Act of Africa.
Thanks for
we
having
appreciate
me.
you for coming
Thank
on the
you very
program
much.
this
Thank
morning. And to you, our dear viewers, thank you for staying there with us. Thank you for always being with Impact Television. There are lots of programs that are lined up for the day which are going to interest you. So I will urge us to also stay glued to us throughout the day, every time, 24/7. That is my message to us. I am Oluwafemi Olla, and on this note, we are saying goodbye this morning on AM Cafe.